Damon, George, Alex, Patrick and Owen from the band Kill 'Em Charlie, and we're here to chat about the release of their new EP. I hope this works for you because it does for me. So guys, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'll start. I'm George. I'm the bass player and the tall one.
I'm Alex and I play rhythm guitar and some backing vocals.
Oh!
I'm Patrick and I play lead-ish guitar sometimes.
I'm Damon and I play drums and a little bit of backing vocals as well with Alex.
I'm Eoghan and I sing and sometimes play some guitar.
Thanks for joining me on my channel. So how did you come up with the name of the band?
We were originally because we've been a band for quite a long time now, but we recently just kind of reimagined ourselves. So we're really getting to feel our music. But back in the day, the singer we had at the time before Eoghan, Mr. McGuigan there, he was reading through a Spider-Man comic and he saw Kill 'Em Charlie. And I read it wrong and I said, Kill 'Em Charlie. And we were kind of all just like, oh yeah, let's go with that, because it was like 5 minutes before we went on for a gig. So we were just like, yeah, we need a name.
Yeah,
so we just kind of
I think we said it over the mic as well, because the announcer was trying to announce us and was like, up next is, and we were like, oh my god, what is it? And then we just came out with that and it's kind of stuck then. Yeah,
we've gotten a lot of compliments on the name actually.
To be fair, it's handy because it's not like when you first excuse me, it's not like when you first start a band and you can't stick with the name because it's already taken or something like that. So I think we can all safely say that no one's taken our name, so that's good. Might as well stick.
No one wants it.
There we go. Pre the good times. Me and Damon.
Owen gets jealous when we talk about our ex. You see, it's awkward to talk about the ex in front of the new girlfriend. Sorry.
So go now. Me and Damon are in the band.
Now the band's good.
Oh,
Respect.
He's not wrong.
So how did you all meet?
So me, Eoghan, and George went to primary school together. So we all met then, and then we met Patrick in secondary school, and that's when we started the band in secondary school. And then Mr. Damon there, he was in a couple of bands in a town that we lived near, and we kind of always knew of him through the years. And 2 years ago, was it? We were looking for a drummer, and he was the first one that came to our mind, and it couldn't be better. He is.
Yeah.
He got the call up.
Yeah, he got the call up, and he just brought a whole new vibe in, and it was so cool, and everything's gone so well.
It's very accepting to come in and like we would play him our tunes, and he'd just be like, all right, cool, yeah, love it. And he probably hates the tunes. We don't know. It's still in that kind of teething period where, he's still making up, trying to be nice and stuff. We don't know if he hates the songs. The EP's out now, so he's going to have to live with it. So,
yeah. But I think between the five of us, there's a really good vibe. Like, I could imagine myself, if I ever got to going on tour with all the lads and whatnot, which is really, like, we never really have fights or anything. Like, we have discussions, but there's, like...
Intense discussions.
Yeah.
Everyone brings something different to the table. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can
no jabs are thrown.
Yeah,
no jabs.
Like, I've only been talking to you for 10 minutes, and I can see that there's a good kind of click between you all. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice because it is. It's nice because two of the lads are in Cork, and like since the new quarantine and stuff, we haven't seen each other in what? When's the last time we saw each other? Jesus,
3 or 4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks, is it?
Yeah, so. It's nice because we're getting interviewed and talk about our songs, which is great. But we're also seeing each other again for the first time in a while, so it's a lovely.
Kind of emotional.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll start crying. Stop.
All together. So you recently just released your first EP. I hope this works for you because it does for me. What would you like to tell us a bit about it?
Go on, you can go for it, man. You're being awful quiet.
So basically, after our last gig, we had a few songs that were floating around that we weren't sure of, kind of half finished. And so once Damon got bedded in nicely and we'd rehearsed for a good few months, kind of out of nowhere with the lockdown as well, we just kind of decided to be a bit more focused. And we started writing, and we finished off 2 or 3 songs fairly quickly. And then with some of the other ones we had ready to go, we just said, from in the space of maybe 2 months, we went from having a few ideas knocking around to having solid 5 or 6 songs, 5 songs that we were probably really proud of and ready to put on track. And we just said, like, there's no better time to do this than now. So we just put the head down, got the songs in. We recorded with Joe. What's the name of the studios again, lads?
Gaff Studios.
Gaff Studios.
Gaff Studios. We recorded with Joe before, so it was really easy to hit him up and just be like, we've got some work to do. Is there any chance we could come over? And that's no problem. He lives about a half an hour away from us, not even. So we went in, having not done anything for maybe a year. You know, it was nice to get in and put down what we've kind of got over the year, what our direction was. So we kind of had a plan for what we are as a band now that we've been kind of a new rejig of the band, and it's been all go since then. Like, unfortunately, if we weren't in lockdown, I'm sure we'd be gigging away because we've actually got so much stuff and so much content to put out. But all we can do now is just release the EP, do as much online stuff as we can, and then like once things open up again, it should be very good time for us.
Raring to go, man.
Yeah,
That's
raring to
right.
go.
And I think what was cool as well, like when we were practicing, like Owen was saying, we were writing the new songs. We felt really proud of the songs, but we also really strongly felt they were good songs. Like, you know, we were playing them, and every time we were playing them afterwards, we just kind of look at each other and be like, "Oh yeah, that's
Like,
good.
that's
We need to get that down."
That's how Proper Quarter Life Crisis made it onto the EP. That was written probably, we had decided to go to the studio at that stage. Everyone said, "Oh no, that has to be on it."
Yeah,
was written
exactly.
like-
Just
Exactly. Yeah.
going with the vibe. Yeah, I think that was. Well, I think we finished it in the studio, but we had the bare bones of it probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks before we went to the studio. And
Yeah.
and it's on there.
Still trying to write parts, listen to the discrete or voice recordings on the phone.
Oh yeah.
Trying to write that song.
Like usually when we'd write stuff, it'd be quite like kind of methodic. We'd kind of sit with it for a while because we obviously, like I said, we hadn't been in the studio for a while before this, and yeah, it was nice to be able to like record the song and have it now released and still like it and not be like, oh, we should have done this or we should have gone back and try and done this bit. We're just happy the way it is. So
A lot of the time when we write songs, the genre can be hard to pin down as well. It can be a bit all over the place. So there's a good, with those 5 songs, there's a good kind of core of like upbeat indie rock kind of melodic stuff, and it kind of gelled together nicely. So it wasn't, a lot of the time we just have a lot of random songs, and this felt like more of a collection that like fit a bit better.
Yeah, me and Alex were only saying the other day, it's kind of like, it's a good reflection of our personalities, I think, because not every song is reflective of the other one, if that makes sense. Like you were saying, we can't really like pin it to a genre, essentially. It's a generalized kind of indie rock EP, but there are some songs that are really indie, some songs are really funky, some songs are really rocky, and then we have a really poppy upbeat one that we released as our first single, One Thing to Say. So yeah, I'm super proud of it anyway. I'm glad it's finally out. So
so what was it like creating it, and how does it feel to have released it?
Oh, like I think it's one of the best times, I think, well, my opinion anyway, as a band, just recording that EP and having our first EP properly released. It's a really, what's the word? I'm losing track of the word right now. It's like a
Nice milestone.
yeah, like a real sense of achievement. That was it, achievement. Yeah. That's not even a hard word to forget. Yeah, real sense of achievement. And at the time, it's so much fun to just sit down and just record some music with some of your best mates.
Yeah, because like up until now we've kind of just had singles more so, but like with this EP we got to spend the longest amount of time in the studio as well we've ever done. So it was just so much fun just chilling with everyone. Like Joe as well, like Owen said, he was like the 6th member of the band.
Yeah,
like, he's such a cool dude, and we owe so much to him. But I think we're all really proud of it, and like George was saying and Owen was saying, we don't regret a single thing. Like we don't listen back to it and say, you know, oh, we should have put that there, we should have put that there, we should have done this or that song. But we're all just super happy with it, which is
the process was really enjoyable, especially that we couldn't gig. You know, sometimes the other stuff, bar the gigging, can be a bit monotonous or maybe not as enjoyable. But I think it was this time around super enjoyable. From like the writing, it really kind of flowed. and then straight into the studio. We were all like so enthusiastic, even though we knew we probably couldn't gig for a while, which would usually be a bit of a downer. Just the way it went, it was just a nice 6-month period where we were able to just do a lot of work and not have it feel like work.
Exactly.
It was just such a good experience that I think we've already talked about doing a follow-up EP fairly quickly. So it wasn't a case of that we were burned out from doing it. We actually do want to go back to the studio again. So I think that says a lot about how pleasant and productive this particular EP was.
So what was your favourite memory from creating the EP?
Well, my one personally was with Proper Quarter Life Crisis, like Patrick was saying. We didn't really have that song fully finished going in. And so there's a solo bit just after the second chorus, and Patrick kind of had an idea about it, but like he's such a sick guitarist. I'm so jealous.
But see if he can get his red cheeks on camera now.
But like he just sat down and he just wrote it, and I remember it was just Patrick and Joe in the actual studio at the time. We were all kind of outside having a cigarette, and the window was open, and he just recorded it, and Joe played it back, and the four of us just kind of looked at each other and were just like, "Oh, that sounds amazing." So for me, anyway, that's my best experience anyway, because I was just like, "Oh yes."
I was literally going to say that as well. Now I have to think of a different answer.
That was mine as well.
Sorry, guys. I got the
If
first.
we had just went in and recorded that
first.
solo, that would have just been enough for all of us. But no, I think I love listening back to the vocal takes, because Eoghan doesn't like complimenting or having compliments on his vocals too much. It's quite shy.
I do not like listening back to the vocal takes.
I loved it.
Especially the bad ones.
Oh no, man.
There's no bad one.
There's
There's no bad
one.
ones.
There's no bad.
There is bad ones. There is.
But it's like recording vocals is one of the last things you do, apart from kind of little additions afterwards. Kind of like other instruments you might find, or just go back and record parts. So to have it as the last core part and listen, it's like having the cherry on top. Really, I love the way Eoghan sings and how his voice sounds. So that was probably mine. Really.
Thank you, George.
You're welcome, bud.
I think my favorite was just nothing crazy, but just because before I've obviously been able to play the guitar, but I never did in the band, and so a lot of the time at practice and stuff, I would just pick up a guitar and fart around while people would take breaks, and it was a bit of a dose. So just in general, being able to play the guitar, and especially recording in the studio and not just having to do vocals, playing guitar as well. In a few of the tracks I got to do a little bit of lead and stuff, and I really like that, just messing around and being able to express myself other than singing. You know, it's just a nice change, and just stood out to me, I thought.
One of my favorite moments is probably Eoghan's facial expressions while he was doing those lead guitar parts. That was emotional. It's like he was on the stage at Wembley. It's just.
That was actually I'm gonna name two. That was actually my second. Well, there's in the last song. Oh my God, what's it called again?
The last song, I'm Not Alone.
I'm Not Alone. So
Fake fan. Fake fan.
I just know what they sound like. But like Eoghan does this lead part in it, and it's so cool about being in the studio as well, that there's just these moments that you don't expect to happen that end up in the song. So he has this lead bit where it's bending. And Eoghan, when he was recording it, just happened to play an extra note or just leave the note go longer. And me and Damon just kind of looked at each other like, that needs to stay in. And it just, it just adds to it. And it's like moments like that, they're just so cool.
Yeah.
Damon and Patrick, yeah.
The time Eoghan they were trying to write the backing vocals or the oohs or something for, was it One Thing to Say?
Yeah.
They turned off Eoghan's mic in the room where we were. And Joe was trying to think of something, help him along. And Eoghan was out in the vocal place. He was trying to signal to George, like, I have something. And George was just like, oh no, Joe's thinking. And Eoghan was going absolutely nuts out at the mic.
He was proper getting angry at me. He was like,
I was
oh,
extremely.
Joe, I have something to do.
Yeah.
Fine. And it worked. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, the recording the backing vocals together was a lot of fun. We were like a really
angelic
skit choir. No, that's not what I would say. It came together in the end, but it was fun. That was a really fun experience. And recording the backing vocals together as a group, I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, because that was the first time we did that as well. Like, you know, usually when you're doing backing vocals, it's all single, but the four of us got to stand around the mic, and there's clips of us all like dancing to the songs, and then
it was very boy band. That was what I liked about
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh, there was synchronized dance.
Westlife
There
fan.
was synchronized dance.
In sync.
It was like we were doing a charity Christmas single or something. We'd all met up to sing some random song.
Yeah.
So what was each of your favourite songs from the EP?
Ooh.
Dark Maneuvers.
Dark Maneuvers is mine, yeah. Opening track.
Yeah.
It just it opened the EP with it, and I just hit you straight away. And the song is it's so enjoyable to listen to throughout. But once you get to the end and the bridge and the outro part, that's when it just I could listen to that song forever. I love listening.
Yeah,
I'm really proud.
I love Patrick's guitar, but like ever since he wrote it. And then George has a sick bass line, and it's just, I love playing it and I love listening to it. So that's definitely my favorite song on it.
Yeah.
Proper Quarter Life Crisis. Like I said, we're very genre bending. We like to throw in a lot of stuff into one song, but Proper Quarter Life Crisis is kind of like quintessential, like mid 2000s indie rock. Nothing crazy in it. I just really like it. It reminds me of a lot of songs, and I just feel like it's really easy to get into.
Fair.
Yeah.
Patrick.
People to interrupt him. He knows.
There's no order.
No, I was going to say, going into the studio, I was like, one thing to say is going to be my favorite. Change that. But then actually listen to him. Dark Maneuvers in the studio. I remember George, when that big end bit hits, every time when Eoghan was doing the vocal takes, George was just ready with an elbow to just swing on the thing.
Pretending I didn't hit anyone with the elbow. It was a physical expression of how the song absolutely slaps at the end. I didn't hit anyone, I promise. Yeah, I completely agree, Pat.
I think the last track that we mentioned before, I'm Not Alone, is probably my favorite. I think it's a really hard thing to finish either an EP or an album on a really strong note, and that track is just fucking spectacular.
Perfect.
If you do say yourself.
Man, write that down. That'd be good for a press pack. Last song, fucking spectacular. Damon Walsh.
It's probably the most.
There's almost like an Everlong feel to it, which I feel like could never be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And it's just a really solid track. It gets stuck in your head for like days afterwards. So that is a sick
There's
song.
a nice emotional undertone to it as well. Like, so it's it finishes the EP off nicely. You know? Yeah.
What's really cool? What's really cool about that song as well is that, you know, like usually when you're recording, you're going to a click track, and depending on what you do, like the way we usually record songs is, you know, you get the drums and then you layer everything on top of that. But with that song, because there's such a live feel to it, like it kind of speeds up in the end almost, because we were so used to playing it live, and we were talking to Joey. He's like, yeah, no, this is a live song. Like you can't really do this to a click track. So me, George, and Damon, we recorded the bases of the song live without any click track. We literally just went into the room and just busted it out, and I think it's really captured in the song as well.
Yeah, it's really organic. It's really relatable, because it sounds like it's a very human feel to it. It's not very to the click and quite robotic, so which adds to the emotional undertone that one mentioned. So.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it now. So how was the artwork for the EP designed?
I love it. It's gas, because we've had the artwork for 2.5, 3 years now, and we never used it. We were going to use it for a single that we never released. Maybe on the next EP. Never recorded. We tried recording. I don't know if you remember this. We tried recording it as well. I did music in college, and I used it as a project. And the file got corrupted, and that's why you never heard the recordings, because all of the files got what we recorded that day. But the artwork stayed, and we in the past we've left the artwork to last and not given it much enough time that it needed for us. Yeah, much thought. Thank you. Again, very easy word to forget. Why am I forgetting the easy words? But never gave it much thought. We were like, just throw in a picture there, that'll do. And but yeah, no, this time we were like, no, we want to do something that's like an image that we can market and put it on merch, and it'll linger around. It'll kind of last a long time without people forgetting it. And yeah, it was a picture we got done with my friend Neve in Limerick, where I went to college. She done it for me and completely forgot that she even done it, and I forgot she'd done it. I found it on my phone one day, and I said, "Oh, lads, what about this? If we just change around the artwork for the singles and add our own one for the EP?" And they were like, "Yeah." So
really cool. I think we're all really happy with it.
I'm buzzing.
It's really weird and different. Like,
Yeah.
it's something that you can see. Like Jordan's saying, it's not just a photo or a picture of us. You know, it's something that you can have it on T-shirts and tattoo
Or a tattoo.
We all have tattooed on us now, nearly.
Yeah,
Not all of us.
Three of the 5 members have the EP artwork tattooed on them, because we said we after we recorded, we got back to mine for a little session, and we were like, we were just kind of reminiscing about all the good, like, there wasn't a bad vibe throughout the 5 days we spent recording it, and it was just like, we all agreed it was a nice way to always remember that time. So we all got it. Well, 3 of us have it tattooed. We're still waiting on Patrick and Damon.
That was the first
As soon as
bad
they
vibe
open
of the
back
night.
up, man. As soon as they open back up, I swear to God.
Oh yeah, whatever.
On my chest.
Owen was saying I should have got it on my neck. Had the tears going up to my ears, but
That is a missed opportunity. Really.
Oh well, only time will tell.
Neck tickler.
I'd be a really stylish hobo on the streets with it anyway, because no one would hire me with a fucking neck tattoo.
You're on the way with that, man. We're forgetting all those words.
So what have you learned from the creation of the EP, and will you take that forward with you in creating new songs?
Ooh.
I think we really found out what recording style works for us.
Yeah.
Just the process that we did, how we approached the EP, everything went so smoothly. Now, all the same, in recording new stuff, you might want to differ it up, but we really learned what worked for us and how we work well and how we bond well together.
Yeah.
So I think we'll definitely take that going forward.
Yeah, I think the next EP is going to be a lot rockier as well. It's going to have a very kind of heavy general tone to the whole thing. So we might have to look at a different approach. But certainly, we know how we gel. Like Alex said, we know how we gel well recording, how we play well. I think because the next EP is going to be really rocky, I think that it might be good just to do it live like we have done in the previous one. I think that'd be something we take forward. But yeah, I think just keep going what we're doing. To be like Owen was saying as well, we were really enthusiastic and trying to be as creative as possible with the time frames that we had, and I think that will definitely be something that we do. We think, well, poor Joe, if we go back to him, be bombarded by the 5 of us just going, just one more guitar track, no, we did it. So yeah, I can't wait. Very excited. Next time we get an opportunity, that is. So
I think the time we spent in the studio definitely helped us in terms of how we'll write our new songs. We'll know how to write things that will sound good in the studio, and like to have extra bits to put in, and how to write a piece more than just a few guitar lines or vocal lines or whatever. Like how to make our sound bigger and things like that. So I think that'll definitely help going into the future, and like you can't get enough of that recording experience, really.
Oh, completely agree.
That's the man who's asleep for half it.
I have the photographic evidence. But
nap man.
You are a nap man. Yes. You like to just do your thing and then just take it all in and just. Exactly.
They're doing it right out in Spain, bro. Those siestas. I'm on board.
So finally, what's next for you?
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's like
who knows? Yeah, it's easy to say, gigs and more interviews and all this stuff.
Grammys.
Oh, I'm loving the bar you're setting, man. I'm gonna have to reel you back a little bit though.
Man, shoot for the stars, man.
like since Damon's come in, we haven't even been able to play a gig with Damon, which is just
incredibly
crazy.
Frustrating.
It's crazy to think about, especially because we're so happy with the songs we have at the moment, and we just can't wait to be able to gig with these songs. But I think recording a new EP will be next, because it's so weird, because during the lockdown, I can't speak personally, but everyone else has been super creative, and we have so many songs coming at the moment.
Basically, Alex.
I haven't written a song in years.
Alex hasn't written note. He's written nothing.
I perfected.
You're the icing on the cake.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think we just got to do what's achievable, you know. Like I said, the studio is only a half an hour drive from us, and it's really accessible to get there. So there's no reason why we can't just keep recording what we're creating and just keep pushing out as best we can. But as soon as we get an opportunity in which we can properly promote our stuff and properly do gigs in a way, like I think a couple of venues opened up here in Ireland for a very brief amount of time, like maybe a month or two ago, was it? And they were all very seated gigs, and not that that's a bad thing. I like a live gig is a live gig. And every gig that was put on was received really well, and you could see the want in people to go to these gigs. But we want to promote our stuff as best as we can. There's no point in just doing one gig or an opening slot for another band here and there. We want to do it right and plan it properly. So we'll have to wait for more things to be available to us in that sense. But yeah, just creating and recording as best as we can, I think, is what we'll just keep doing.
It's tough for every band though at the moment. Like even in regards to like a music video, we're gonna have to, because we want to make a music video, because we never really we haven't done one before.
No.
So but like obviously we can't do it in person now, so we're gonna have to get creative and see what we can come up with, like, so that for something we're also happy with, you know, to put out at the end of the day. So it is gonna be creative in a weird way, but it is still tough all the same. But it's what it's.
It's what it's.
That's
it. It's like the amen at a church. It's what it's.
Yeah, as if things got back, you know, in the next year to some bit of normality, it'd be a great help, because like for small bands like us, trying to organize things where people have to pre-buy tickets and are seated and stuff, it's not as viable, you know. For bigger bands, they're going to be able to do that much easier than us, and like to get a show with a few smaller bands and then get a live crowd who can come in, you know, maybe get some ticket sales on the door or whatever is kind of where we're at. Like, so it's going to be hard to plan anything live until we really know what the situation is. But like as soon as that happens, like that'll have a great like knock-on effect for all like the likes of us, because it's just like being able to redo everything again, but like with all our new tracks, and to get some public opinion live. Like, you know, it's hard to know. People can like a song recorded, but then like any song off the EP, like people might react to it much different live, and like that's always a nice thing to see.
Especially when we do live gigs again as well. By that time, if say early next year, we'll say March if we're lucky, things start looking like they're going to be open for a while. We're going to have 2 EPs to push, you know, hopefully by that time, if we get to record early next year. So we have a lot of promoting to do when those gigs happen.
Like we're raring to go. Like we've for a couple of years we kind of struggled to really perfect our kind of live set. Like we had a lot of covers in, but now like all our original songs, we're all really happy with them. And like even when we're practicing, we can play, you know what, 12, 13 songs, and we're just like, oh, that's really good. So we're just kind of waiting, you know. More so we can't wait to get out there and show everyone.
Alex is buzzing. Alex is great.
He's playing so much.
Oh, the new Borat film's out tonight. Not that this is sponsored at all. Yeah, just reminded me.
My wife.
Classic. Yeah, so we're just holding on to little things at the moment, as you can see, like the new Borat film. But until then, you know, we're just going to keep recording and just release what we can, and hope enough people hear that keep recording and keep writing more. So
that's what we do what we can.
Good.
A massive thank you to Kill 'Em Charlie for joining me on my channel. If you would like to check out their new EP or any of their music, I'll leave all the links in the description below. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I love you. I'm sorry that I still